Oh. This webinar is being recorded, and in at OD is Adam and myself. Thank you, Adam, for reminding me to click the recording button. And for some of you, this is the second webinar because at 11 a.m. we had the webinar for LTCT, and at 12 is the webinar for YCEP JDEP. And similar to LTCT, I don't imagine this webinar being a very long one. It'll be short. And after the webinar ends, I'll post it on YouTube, and I'll email the handouts and the YouTube recording for everyone to see. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, so the disclaimer: the estimated state school fund grant amount is tentative and are subject to change on the actions of the governor or the legislature. These are just estimates. As you know, every year we send out our estimates for the following around this time of year so that our sites can plan and adjust accordingly for the upcoming year. But the final amounts come out in May or June, when pretty much the legislature has decided on the state school fund amount and our amounts. Okay, so an estimated state school fund amount. The state school fund amount is JDEP 10,526 per ADM at 1.6 at 169 ADM, which comes out to 1 million. YCEP $14,035 per ADMW at 300 ADM comes out to 5,344,011 and 13. There is a limited amount of 15-17 unspent carryover funding. So for 17-18, small JDEP and YCEP sites will be supplemented to have a full-time teacher at each site. So we're anticipating using our 15-17 unspent carryover fund to supplement the small sites. And then, for instance, at YCEP, it could be Camp Florence or Ocean Dunes and Young Women's Transition Program, or Riverside High School. And some of our JDEP sites would be Lynn, Lane, Lincoln, and perhaps Deschutes and Klamath coming year. And there might be some others that I may have overlooked. Now, however, the supplemental funds are not intended to hold sites harmless, nor is it sustainable over time. There is no assurance that we can provide the supplemental funds for 18-19. I mean 18-19, yes. From what some have communicated, we may have sufficient carryover for 17-18, but we don't know until all the invoices come in for 18-19, and it's not to hold sites harmless. Some of your sites will receive less funding because of lower ADM. For cost for intake and admin will be accounted for out of carryover funds to allow for the distribution of all revenue to a field. So in other words, for YCEP, we all said we're going to supplement the intake for at Robert Farrell. It used to be, but it'll move over to Lord. But instead of giving the $20,000 from each YCEP site, OD will just pay for it. Okay. So with the supplemental, one full-time teacher assigned to each JDEP YCEP site. That'll be a requirement. The remaining state school funds to be used at the discretion of the grantee for the educational expenses for the JDEP YCEP classrooms, and 8/14 is the final date for submission of invoices for JDEP YCEP for 15-17. And then we need that so that we can help figure out our carryover amount and so forth. And I think it says in the contract 4 to 5 days from the end of the contract, which is June 30th. So are there any questions? Oh, and then here I will email this out to everybody. This is what it, oh, if you wanted to see, this is the Excel spreadsheet. And basically the formula is ADM times 2 times the amount and so forth. Okay. Any questions? And I'm going to unmute everybody. Everyone is unmute. Any questions? And no one's, no questions. Okay. Okay, so someone said, so the 1.7 for JDEP is going to fund the smaller programs alone. No, so this is, the 1.7 is going out to everybody. What we have not figured out yet is the amount that will be supplemented for Lincoln County, because if they're only going to get 28,000, they need a supplement to have a full-time teacher. Whether they have 3 kids or 9 kids, they still need to have at least 1 full teacher. So we will have to supplement Lincoln County, and we're going to supplement that amount from our carryover amount from 15-17. The 1.7, for instance, like Donny Longs, everyone's getting their full state school fund amount. We're not going to take money from a larger facility to fund a smaller facility. Does that answer your question, Mike? It looks like for Marion, it'll be, where's Marion? Oh yeah, it's 180. So Marion will get 180 for next year. And this is only for 17-18. So in other words, we will not take a portion of your 180 to give to other sites. That 180 is yours, because that's the ADM that you have, you generate it, and that's how much you'll get. We'll use the carryover to fund perhaps COIC, which is in Bend, Klamath, Lane, Lincoln, perhaps Lynn, and Yamhill. So my message to everybody is, if you need to spend, spend, but if you're not going to spend, if you don't have to spend, please don't spend. And then for WSD for next year, these 2 amounts will be combined because they're, these 2 sites are coming together. Any questions? No other questions? Okay, so I guess that's it. So I'll go up back to my desk, email out, we'll convert the recording and email out the link and everything. Thank you, everybody. Oh, so, okay, a question just in. So if we don't spend this year, will it go into carryover? Yes, the carryover will come back to ODE. Yes, the carryover will come back to ODE, not to you. It does not go back to, if you're, like, for instance, if Mount Nebo didn't spend like if they didn't spend 150, like if their amount was this year 140, they didn't spend 20,000, it does not go back to them, it comes back to us. And the carryover benefits the other sites, such as Lynn and so forth. Any other questions? No? Thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedule. I'll email these out later on. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.